Welcome back to Wix-Wise, back for another episode, and we've got a bit of a special one today and a bit of a special guest as well. Today we have Mr. Peter from PS Sound, and we are going to make some magic happen on Phil's 335 E92. Quite a big system in here, lots of Helix C series, and we've got an Ultra in there as well. This has definitely been a big build for Phil, but Mr. Peter is out to resurrect, and
I only traveled 27 hours.
Yeah, it was only a small trip. Just a little one.
The good thing is, once you get here, you realize that you're not going to the moon, you know.
Well, this is true.
You're still on this planet, so it's not that bad.
No.
It's a day's
No.
trip.
You just got to deal with the whole Melbourne weather thing.
I mean, come to UK.
Well, this is true. This is very true.
It's bloody awful.
So we've got a lot of bits and pieces to do in here. We've got a bit of tidy up and a little bit of fabrication to do as well. Peter knows this system a little bit better than I do. So Peter, if you want to sort of introduce what's going on.
All right, so it's pretty clear once you guys see what's in this car that it's been heavily inspired by stuff we do in the UK. And this system now is not your average system for many reasons. So I just thought to run through it so you can see what we are dealing with. So the car is three-way front end, front sub, rear feel that we can run normal rear feel or differential rear feel, and we have 215s in trunk IB. So you have plenty of things happening. We have the Ultra running the system with 12 channels, 6 for the front end, three-way, then 2 channels for the rear feel. We have 2 channels for the front sub and then 2 channels for the rear sub. But technically we would still have spare channels for running center field if we wanted, which this car doesn't require, but it would be interesting to demonstrate to customers and people and meetings what these things are about, and we will definitely create many presets in the car so we can show what it's like to have front sub without front sub, what it's like to run rear field normally or differential. So we'll be able to create many different presets. At the back we have 2 C4s and 1 C1. So one C4 is running the tweeters and the mids, another C4 is running the mid bass and the rear feel, and then the C1 is running the front sub. Then you might be thinking, okay, what's running the 215s at the back? And for that you have to come down and show it. So there is a Zapco Z 1100.1, which is something like 1 kilowatt on 4 ohm, but we have 2 subs, 2 4 ohm subs paralleled. So we have roughly around 1.5K running 215s. You don't need any of that power for IB, but it's good to have that headroom, that's for sure. Let's go to the front. Let's show how bad it looks. So yes, this is not the pretty part of the build yet, but just like any project, it takes time. It's work in progress, and everything you see in this car has been built by the owner, as far as I know. But correct me? Yeah.
Yep.
I think everything has been built by him. And yes, it's been hard work, a long journey, several years put into this car. I think Phil has a build log on one of the BMW platforms, BMW 3 Series online platforms, where he has, I don't know, like hundreds of pages showing the whole build. He spent weeks soundproofing the whole car, in and out everywhere. But with any BMW, people find that there are limitations to the factory speaker locations. And even if I have many videos, and I always tell people that BMW platform is easy to get good results. If you want to go beyond that, if you want an audiophile experience, you have to go custom. You have to create bespoke speaker locations, which is hard work. And you can't even see, maybe along the way when we start working on the car, we will show where the mid bass is.
It's very sneaky, that's for sure.
In the kicks, it's difficult to see, installed in a very special way. Then we have an SB acoustic, 10-inch front sub. It's a really funky driver. Once we take it out, we will definitely look at it because it's a very unique construction. And it's really ideal in a small sealed enclosure. We have a tiny sealed enclosure, but it's still capable to deliver the range to integrate a 6.5 at the front to 215s if you want to go nuts. The front sub just plays that upper bass, and once it's tuned, you don't really separate it, you don't notice it.
And does it integrate well? Oh yes, it does.
Of course, it takes a bit of knowledge to tune it right, but it blends in. It definitely blends in nicely. So mid bass in the kicks, front sub. We have hybrid L4 SEs on the dash. Playing underneath the dash, the whole dashboard was taken out, deadened, properly treated, and we have the second generation Utopia tweeters.
The BEs.
The BEs, and yeah, the pillars could do with a pretty.
Yes, that will definitely come. That will definitely come.
But as we said, this is work in progress. So from the director, you can change presets, you can change input levels, you can change the sub level, you can even attenuate the rear fill from the director now, which is pretty handy if you want to have fun with rear fill. Did you actually notice the rear fill when you see
Yeah, I did actually notice it. It's only subtle, but that's the point.
Yeah. But it depends on the songs as well. Where you have something with a lot of stereo information, then differential rear fill really holds the space. It gives more ambience, more room information. But it's going to be really interesting for you once I can demonstrate the car with the laptop plugged in.
Yeah, absolutely. And one big thing, even for me, the first time playing with differential rear fill, it was just such an add of spatial effect almost, just giving it that little bit extra, but it doesn't affect from that front stage whatsoever. So it actually just benefits the front stage.
I haven't had a single customer who would have come back telling me that, hey, take it out, I don't want it.
Yep.
At the beginning, some people are like, I'm not sure yet.
Yep.
But then give them a week or two.
And then they're sold.
I can't leave
Absolutely
it
sold.
I want it. It just gives life. It just gives some spice to the space. It's not that dead. People think that you sit in a car and you have so many reflective surfaces that it's going to be a echoey space.
Yeah.
The car is a dead space.
No.
It's a very dead space. And
Absolutely agree.
That differential rear fill, if it's set up well, it can bring some life back to the space. I always tell people that, yes, there was a time when I was believing that, okay, we play stereo, it only has to play from the front. You go to a live concert.
Yeah, everything's at the front. Yep, the same spiel, been there
And
before
it's true,
too.
but how can you tell that you are on a gig in a small club? Or how can you tell that you are in an arena or in a church? How can you tell it from just left and right, from the recording?
Yeah.
You can tell from the recording if it was done well that, okay, I have more room information in that left and right, but you still cannot tell any information coming from the back like in real life.
Absolutely.
Sit in your closet. You can tell that the reverberation is just, you don't have that decay, and with differential rear fill you can recreate it. You can give that sensation of space that you lose in a small cabin. So this car has a lot happening. One thing we haven't mentioned is the source.
Yes, and there is a there is a head unit in here. We do have a HXD2 sitting in here, but obviously at this point in time it does have the HEC HDBT running into the DSP Ultra. So wicked source. They are a wicked source.
Okay, that's the problem right now, because I know many audiophiles look at this build, all this money spent on it, and then now we will get all the messages through.
Yeah. Oh, you're running Bluetooth.
I'm putting my head on it. Bring your fancy high-res player, play it in your car, and play Bluetooth in this car.
Find the difference.
The trouble is people still think that Bluetooth is still the old school Bluetooth.
Not these days.
Now you stream data, and you can stream data lossless, and you don't notice the difference.
No.
But of course, what you play has to be lossless. And now that was the easiest thing to put in for now, but now Phil has, endless options to have even wired digital source option. But CD, that's the thing, it's there, but
You generally won't use
in
it.
2015 I went to Eurofine and was first with my digital audio player with the DAP, with the Faio X7, and everyone was looking at me like, what is that? Okay, it's like an upgraded iPod. All right.
Yeah, essentially.
And I told to people, guys, CD is the past already. It's not the it's the past. And then still everyone was whacking out big boxes of
CDs and everything.
folders.
Yep. But then, I mean, even if you look at the bit rate of a CD, I mean, you can't compare that now to what you can get out of, you know, again, like a HDBT. And not only that.
About it. Careful with that, because
Yeah.
people will still go on the internet. They will research that, oh, you can only have this bit rate going through that module, and then, oh, it's still worse, and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
But then there's also always going to be people that will tell you, no, vinyl sounds better than anything you've ever listened to. And look, I'll pay, vinyl definitely has a sound, there's no question. But when you're after accuracy, it's...
I really struggle to hear a car brought by a customer or by a competitor who would really justify spending all that crazy money on snake oil, on cables, on high-res bullshit, super tweeters and all that, and then I sit in the cars and then the whole system falls apart.
Yep.
It's not integrated.
Yep.
It's not a system. You have many speakers playing their own thing. You don't have accurate imaging. You don't have a solid staging. And even the spectral balance is just wrong in the car.
Yeah.
So wrong. We can talk about the nuances that, oh yeah, you know, it's a bit too transparent for me on the top end, or I like more kick bass, but that's just, you know, tiny little tweaks.
Yep.
Once
Absolutely.
the system is tuned, then after that, those little things are fine tuning. But then most people are a million miles away from that stage, yet they rant about bit rates and high res. I want to play 384, 24-bit. And I'm like, you know,
be surprised if most people will actually hear the difference in exactly that.
Well, I'm not saying you cannot hear it, but when I hear a car where the door falls apart, they have several thousand spent on the base on the door build, and it's made looking pretty with LED lights and whatnot. And then I install a $300 speaker in the kicks properly in IB or in seal deck closure.
And it basically shits all over it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what people have to focus at, and this is a beautiful example in this car that it's a proper build.
Yeah, absolutely. And look,
right
again, just back to that HDBT as well, the other major convenience is the fact that it is convenient. Like, you don't have to think about it. You connect your phone to it, you get in the car, you push play, and it works. It's that simple.
There's one thing I'm missing from all manufacturers.
Yep.
Is it so difficult to have a bloody microphone input on the DSP?
Now, that's a fantastic point. That is a fantastic point.
When people ask me that, okay, I can connect my phone, I can play my music, what happens when I have a phone call? Oh, you're screwed.
Yep, absolutely. I actually will agree with that. I actually do have that issue in my car as well. I've got a HEC BT, and it's just like, it'd be lovely if you could just go direct straight through and then have the input source set up for that in
When you have a call coming in, input source switches.
Yep.
Or your phone music, the music stops playing anyway, and then you hit a button, answer the phone call, and then the microphone takes over, taking the feed.
Yep, absolutely.
So, there you go. All manufacturers.
Yeah, get onto it.
Different input.
I mean, even the Helix technically has everything there with you know, all of the signal set up and, you know, ready to go. If it just had the input there, you'd be done.
Yeah, you wouldn't even need factory hedge in it. Everyone now cries about most integration in cars, or taking speaker level feed from really complex systems using all-pass filters, built-in equalizer, time alignment and everything, and then they try to get a clean signal out of a factory source, and at the end they can say, I have full integration. Yeah, your source is still shit. You have compression, you have distortion. Latest, I had a Transporter T6. In UK, transporters are very popular.
Yep, definitely.
I tuned the system to the main factory head unit source and speaker level. We did it, and I could tell compression that was there, dynamics lacking. Spectrally, the system was fine because we tuned everything to the source. Yep. But then I switched over to that simple Bluetooth module in a stacked DSP.
Yep. Bang.
The owner was like, oh, I'm not playing that.
And you can't go back.
Yeah, you can't go back.
You can't go back.
So that's a good example. So here we are. Okay, today we have to transform this car.
Yep. So first thing is we'll get that sub box out, start getting some blending happening, start getting it integrated and looking nice in there. Then obviously we can start working on some extra bits and pieces.
See what we get.
That's it. All right, well, let's make the magic happen. Coen and Peter have definitely got some well progress happening on that. It's looking vastly better. Vastly
Play an
better.
octave lower and it will kick your eyeballs out. It's too much stronger now, yeah?
Hey, can't go wrong with the double baffle. Awesome. They're almost getting ready to
Make it pretty.
make it pretty, put it in and get some bog happening.
This is a tiny, actually, if you have the camera, there you go. Let's show that little baby.
There
So,
is.
This is a very funky construction.
It is indeed.
Probably has a 4-inch coil
Yep.
that runs inside that. That's the size of the coil, that's 3-inch.
Yep.
But the cone is quite something.
It is indeed.
It's definitely rigid. This doesn't have any flex. So many subs, you push it on one side, it starts flexing.
Yep. And you'll
This
feel
one.
the coil rub or something.
Yeah, on this one it hardly does anything. It almost, yeah, it should move like a piston, like any other sub. But
Absolutely. It is definitely a cool design.
beautiful thing. Now we've done the hard part, yeah?
Yeah. Absolutely.
When I had the proper mask on and everything,
Yeah.
you don't come here to record us.
No, of course not.
Of course not.
I was busy doing zero gauge plugs, you know?
We're getting somewhere.
That is definitely somewhere. There is no question about
Getting
that.
somewhere is going to be nicely blended. Once
Yep.
it's trimmed, it will look prettier. For sure. Now we lost the 45 sharp angles, but
I actually kind of like the rollover.
yeah, once it blends in, trimmed it.
But then it's same like the interior. It's sort of got a bit of angle with a rollover, so
It's a bit more filling, more sanding. It'll be pretty by the end.
love it. Love it.
Here we go.
Good work,
Fill up.
sir.
Let's bring fill up.
I'm busy back here. I've got Anderson pod mounted underneath, and that's going to be for our big battery pack over here. So just getting that sorted out. We've also done some LEDs, got the controller and everything in there and mounted.
Making good progress. That is the best part. Exactly. Where everything comes together. Huh? Magic. Look at that. Like BMW decided to put a sub in the glove box. Just a slight transformation. That looks wicked. And that line coming across the top there,
Files pretty straight.
love it.
I will revise it. There's a slight gap on the outside here. But once we trim it with thick vinyl, it
Yep,
will
that's
squash against
definitely
the dash.
gonna fill it.
The dash is also squashy, so that will disappear. So,
Good stuff.
flowers.
Well done.
Nice work, Cole.
Good work, buddy. You've done it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did it all.
Yeah, everything. Pete's just been supervising. I am getting close with this. This side's almost there. So it's all happening. Yeehaw. There is our lithium cell plugged in. So that's a win. That's all sorted and working and fused. So that will do the job. That is a win. And over here, these guys are at trimming.
These guys are making a vinyl looking thing. It's getting there.
Absolutely. We've got to love that bit.
A bit of conga show. If I play, you sing? No? No, I don't sing. Nice.
Well, isn't that a vast improvement?
Well, I'll have to drop it in the car and see.
And oh yeah, they have killed it on that one. That looks absolutely wicked. Peter, Coen, rocket. You guys killed it on that one.
It's alright.
It looks absolutely wicked. Absolutely wicked.
Tidy.
Yep.
Enough in a few hours.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we are
Your work as well.
a little bit tidier in here as well. Gone through and just done a bit of cable management and a little bit of tidy up. Obviously without, you know, stripping the whole thing down and sort of starting again. We can only go so far, but it's definitely a vast improvement.
Yeah, all the
Definitely.
little things. Plus, you know, you got rid of stress on cables, which were just hanging.
Yep, absolutely.
RCA's hanging.
And of course-
remote cables hanging, things like that. It's all tidy there now.
Yep.
Plus, you know, come on, you can show you put in a charging cable now.
Well, yeah, exactly. Big ass charge cable and big ass lithium with big ass Anderson.
Well,
Boom, boom.
That's an 80 amp hour pack, lithium pack.
So you'll have all the juice. All the juice. Especially for our training coming up this weekend, which is going to be wicked, 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 wicked fun.
This weekend, it means that you want to try to share it before that.
Wow, God, that's going to be a massive effort. Look, I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean,
People may see it in the future.
absolutely.
And then by the time you say that we will have a training,
Well,
and we have already had one.
absolutely. And look, I mean, I plan to do a little bit of video about the training, obviously not including any training info as such, but
we are going to definitely.
a little bit of obviously video of, you know, guys getting around doing some tuning on their cars. On the Saturday, there's going to be a bit of a meetup as well with a bunch of other guys coming down too. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But well, I mean, I will say after hearing this, even with just its bass tune in there, it is a definitely got a lot of cojones. We'll say that much. That's no real big surprise, obviously, with these C series. I mean, they've definitely got some power and tap. That's for sure.
Definitely have headroom, but that is not that should make people impressed.
No, not at all.
The really, you know, impressive thing in the system is when everything is just rattle free and
Yeah.
you can send it.
Absolutely.
Nothing gets highlighted. Everything works together as a system instead of many speakers making just a mess.
Yeah, absolutely, just noise. Yep.
So here in this car right now, you can't separate much between anything below 200 hertz. You can't tell which speaker is actually doing
Nope,
what,
not at all.
where they play from. It wants to be right up front on the top of the dash, what I always say, and now everything is
There.
working as they should.
Absolutely.
After 2 years of struggle.
Yep. Yep. Phil is definitely a happy man. There is no question about that. And obviously, there's still a little bit to go with this, but I will be actually doing some videos a little later on because we are going to get back into this boot. We're going to make up some cover panels and do some pretty stuff, make it all look a bit nice. But obviously, that will be a little bit later down the track. But from now, Peter, legend, thank you, good sir. It has been a wicked day, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Week. That's a good start.